start again. It's a rich thing.
Hey y'all, this is Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping in. If you are new here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button before you leave out of here. Thumbs up, comment in the comment section below. If you are not new, welcome back. We are here for another episode of the Never Ever Mets. We're on episode 2 of this different show, is what I'm gonna call it. So there was quite a bit of moving pieces because I feel like there's so many couples with this show. I mean, now we're down one couple. We'll talk about that. That 6 couples is still a lot to keep up with, and just once you take out commercials and what about a 50-minute show, like it's a lot. So we're gonna jump right into what happened this episode, and let me know y'all thoughts and comments below. Okay. So the episode picks up where the other one left off. He is telling her, Dominique is telling Alexis, stop disrespecting him. She's still arguing back and forth with him. This is just getting messier and messier. And all these white men on this production just keep doing is they just keep the cameras rolling. They see what's happening, but they just keep the cameras rolling. I feel some kind of way about that. Shay and Josh, because they were the one downstairs with them, they step in, pull the two of them away from each other. Shay goes to Dominique to try to explain Alexis' side of things. And I'm like, I would not be nowhere near this man. And if my man is here, my man would not be letting me nowhere near this man. Like, girl, no, the temper that he has, no, thank you. I'm sorry, girl, but I cannot fight your battles for you. I can take you and we can leave, but I'm not going to approach him. All right. So now Aaron J is in the kitchen, who is Joanna's Aaron. Why is he there in the mix, child? Your guess is good as mine, okay? Then Dominique says, why would she take it to the next level? And I said, boy, what? Why would she take it to the next level? So you don't think you went from level 1 to level 10 as well, sir? Both of y'all ain't good together, okay? Y'all feed off of each other's energy, and it's just not a good combination. But how dare you try to put that off on her, sir? No. So production finally does end up stepping in, says that Dominique will be staying at a hotel for the night, and she acting like she don't know how to feel about that. And I'm like, this man just assaulted you on TV, and you don't know how to feel about him leaving for the night? Exactly what I'm saying. Toxic to each other. Anyway, we see that Josh and Shay's chemistry, child, it is still popping. They are definitely connecting. They don't have no problems there, okay? Millie is trying to get the tea from all the ladies. The guys are all kicking it together, and Brandon is bringing them up to speed on the whole Dominique and Alexis situation. Sienna is me during the conversation when, the story is being told from Alexis of, girl, if he does that with the cameras rolling, what is he going to do without cameras? And that is all of our point exactly. Like, if you don't think this is going to get worse, girl, okay. And then Diamond over there looks like Tamala Man talking about, you should have come got me. I said, not Tamala Man is ready to nuck if you buck. Yeah, there's no tea, no shade. I think Diamond is beautiful. I think Tamala Man is beautiful. But she just gave me straight up Tamala Man Meet the Brown vibes in that scene of the show. And that was the first thing that came to my mind. Anyway, we see all the couples are getting together. Everybody's kind of talking about the Alexis and Dominique situation. So then we see Aaron, who is Diamond's Aaron. He tells Alexis that, nobody can bring this type of energy and attitude out of you. It is something that is already in them. He shares that he was in an abusive relationship before, and she just really has to remember last night. He's like, remember last night you had to pick up a frying pan to defend yourself. Remember that. And that needs to be what you stick with, because y'all know a lot of times abusive relationships, they try to stick with and hold on to the apologies and the promises that their abuser has made to them. And it's like, no, you need to think about the situation that you were in where you had to defend yourself in that moment. Alexis starts to cry, and I don't know about you guys, but I had a hard time finding the tears. Maybe I have missed it. I mean, I've seen and heard the rumblings on social media. I'm really trying to just go by what they show us on this show. I really don't care to dig deeper into y'all don't see what production saw. Uh, we not even in a real relationship. Like, I don't care. And I'm tired of people coming to social media as the show is being aired and giving us all this extra information. Like, just let the show play out how the show is going to play out, okay? So we then see Taronda come into the house, and she talks to Alexis alone outside and tells her that, you know, it was brought to her attention what happened the previous night. She tells Taronda the story about him getting upset with, you know, her flirting with a guy. She starts to get emotional all over again. But to me, in this moment, her emotions are a little bit confusing to me because it's like, as they were telling her that he had to stay at a hotel that night, she was almost emotional as like she didn't want him to leave or she didn't know what to do with him leaving. And then she gets emotional of saying that she just don't feel safe. She wouldn't have felt safe with him there. So it's all given a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the BS. Okay. Taronda then shows her a video of him giving her an apology. He tries to blame it on the alcohol and tells her that he hopes they can just sweep it under the rug and he wants them to enjoy the rest of the time together and continue to getting to know each other and tell her to be cool. Like, girl, if you just be cool, what none of this has happened. And I'm like, sir, what now? What in the gaslighting is happening that you trying to act like her not being cool led to you putting your hands on her? And you just thought we can just brush this under the rug and have a good time here? No, sir, that's not how any of this works. I was so confused in this moment because although this was a terrible situation with him putting his hands on her, you really didn't like her anyway. So this was your perfect out to get out of this whole relationship, TV show, experiment, everything, because we know you wasn't really feeling her like that. You just wanted to smash. Oh gosh. Taronda asks her how she feels. She says she didn't like how he said that it wasn't that deep because she does feel like it was deep. Yes, it was, girl, and you better believe his actions, not his words. Taronda tells her that it only takes one time and she does not deserve that. And I'm like, yes, she does not deserve that. Neither does any man or any woman deserve to be physically abused or assaulted in any type of way. But we just not gonna gloss over how Alexis was feeding into that as well. Like, Alexis was definitely agitating the situation, getting bucked as well, putting her hands on her as on him as well. And I felt like, if I'm remembering correctly, y'all please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, that she kind of gave a little shove or push off or something before he did. Again, it makes none of it right. But also what I'm saying is her actions should be addressed as long as we are here addressing him not putting his hands on her. She also needs to understand, like, everybody just got to keep their hands to themselves, okay? But Taronda lets her know they basically have a no violence policy and he has to leave. And as a result, she has to leave because it's a couple show. We don't need no singles here. We see Brandon and Sienna are talking. We learn that he has two children. I believe they were 5 and 13 years old. They talk about visiting each other because, you know, she lives in New York, he lives in Florida. And she says, you know, if I really like somebody, you know, I can make it happen. Keep that in mind that she said that. Alexis tells Millie that she thinks it's acceptable for both of them to go home as she's going upstairs to go get her things to tell the other woman bye. So we see Alexis is gone and she says she does not think that they would reconnect. And in my opinion, I call BS a little bit because I'm like, I think if these cameras and these other people were not here, you definitely probably would have brushed this under the rug and went back to fooling around with this man for whatever reason. Um, so everybody in the kitchen is talking, and I think it was Brandon maybe or Chris that brought it up that says what's so ironic was that their date was yoga, which is supposed to be very calming, but then it turned into this. That's because the date was not about yoga. The date was getting her in these sexual positions and feeling her body. That was the goal of the date, okay? But they go to Dominique one last time. This Negro says he doesn't regret anything. He still has some growing to do, and he's still gonna be meeting girls online. He wants them to holler at him. Holler at your boy. Okay. So we see Chris and Sandia are outside talking, and I'm like, Chris, you got some splaining to do, sir. Okay. He says he needs to talk to her about what transpired the night before. He said he didn't say anything about flirting with another girl because he doesn't find any other girl that attractive. I'm like, Chris, that's not what was said. So I don't know what was said back to Sandia, or if she thought she didn't hear the conversation correctly, because I thought she was still in the room when he said that. Because I'm like, Chris, you are now playing games. You did say you flirt with a lot of girls, not necessarily the ladies there, but you did say you flirt a lot. She tells him that he doesn't think before he says something. And they both agree that they are completely not in a relationship. So they are still trying to feel each other out. She tells him it's just certain things you don't say. And it's like saying that you don't trust women, or you like to flirt a lot, or you like to talk to women 2 or 3 days and then you pretty much be ghosting them. Like you just don't have to say all of that, especially in front of her. And since he doesn't trust women, she's like, well, why are you here? And he's like, I want to work on that. I want to work on building trust with you. No, you don't. No, no, you don't, Chris. You just want something to do at this moment, is what I think. You are playing with her. And Sandia, it's only been 3 months, girl. It has been a short enough time period where you can walk away with no damage being done to yourself, child. Go ahead and exit stage left. He then tells her that she is too emotional, and when you throw too many emotions at him, he steps back. Again, this man doesn't really want to be in a relationship. If somebody gives you too much emotion, you step back. You pour in all this love bombing for women for 2 or 3 days, and then you step back. Like, who has time to be playing these head games with people? Just be single. Or be out here giving out D&D. If y'all know what that means, drop it down in the comments. Drop it down in the comments. But you need to stop playing. She says that she has waited so long that she is going to fight. So no matter what happens, as long as he accepts when he is wrong and they are able to move forward, she is going to fight for it. I said, what kind of women do we have on this show, y'all? Because what? Again, it's been 3 months and you sitting here telling me you going to fight for this? Like, basically, no matter what you're fighting. Y'all don't have enough history for you to want to do all this knucking if you bucking. Girl, fighting for who? For what? Chris? Oh, I'm so exhausted, y'all. So then we see Millie, Greg, and Aaron, who is Joanna's Aaron, are in the hot tub. They are talking. Joanna is not out there because homegirl says she do not play by her hair in no water. Girl, just sitting in there is not going to do nothing to your sewing or whatever you got done to your hair. Millie tells them that, Greg showed up as the person that he was online, so everything is good with them. Shay and Josh then join them in the hot tub, and Sandia and Chris are in the inside cooking. And when they was cooking, y'all, did I hear Sandia and Chris right when Sandia asked if he wants some sugar, and he was like, no, why would I want that? And they were kind of close, so I thought they were talking about kissing, but she was also cooking. So I'm like, did he just reject a kiss from her, or was he talking about don't put no sugar in the food? Like, is she about to put sugar in the grits because that's a no-no? Is that what she about to do? So he had to say no? Because if he was rejecting a kiss, this is reason number 536 why Sandia needs to leave, honey. Go. So now all the couples are meeting outside with Taronda, and they're going to do an activity. She tells them that they have an intimacy suite, aka the boom boom room, and all I could think was, yuck. Why is there just one room and we all taking turns doing the do in there, huh? This is the most ghettoest mansion I ever seen in my life. Because why are we sharing a boom boom room with 6 couples rather than just giving 6 couples their own bedrooms? Okay, so the activity that they are going to do is related to Kama Sutra in an effort to get them comfortable with each other and to help with communication. So what they're going to do is they'll come up. Taronda will pick 2 cards of 2 different positions, and they'll have to pick which position they want to do in front of everybody else. So Chris and Sandia, they go first. They get the balancing act, which looks like a form of a little bit reverse cowgirl, and then they have the lotus blossom. And out of the 2, they picked the lotus blossom, which is basically just her straddling on top of him with her legs wrapped around his waist. He tells her that he feels comfortable with her and he really wants this to go much further than this. And she says she does too. And I say, I guess if y'all like it, I love it. Shay and Josh, they get the curled angel and the hero. And they let us know that they've already done both of those last night. I said, well, okay, then Shay and Josh. Get your groove on. Okay, I'm not mad at it. And he's then spooning her because I believe they picked the curl angel position. And she says she's tingling. I think we should respect their privacy at this time. So we see Aaron and Joanna, they get the landslide or the wheelbarrow. And Diamond lets us know in her confessional, she don't see no attraction between Aaron and Joanna. And we don't either, Diamond girl. Aaron don't want her if you get what we putting down. And Aaron agrees with his boo that says these two have the least connection of every couple. Taronda she's talking about Aaron and Joanna, asks them how they feel about their connection as he is sitting on top of her. And he's like, yeah, it's it's something poking through the jogging pants. That's how you feel about y'all connection in this position. When she is asked about their intimacy, since the position that she chose had her laying on her stomach with her face down and him kind of sitting on top of her butt almost with their faces in the same direction, but they can't exactly look at each other. So Taronda asks them about intimacy since in this position they can't see each other's faces. And she says that they don't always need to be looking at each other for the connection, but it's the energy. And y'all, energy, the light bill must have not been paid. The energy is off. The electricity is off, okay? So next up is Millie and Greg. They get the eagle or the magic mountain. They chose the eagle. And she says that she feels relaxed in this position, which is basically her legs up in the air and him in front of her. And, she says, when we're ready for this, we'll get here, but on our own time. And it was in this moment, y'all, I was like, what is the point of this activity again? I know what we said, but I feel like it's just about sex. I don't feel like we're getting much in the form of communication that's really happening with us doing these sexual positions. But Millie says she finds him attractive, but he has to get to her mentally first. Next up is Aaron and Diamond. They get the splitting bamboo and the rocking horse. They choose the splitting bamboo. And he's like, me and Diamond, we the same because neither one of us got a problem with an audience, honey. He says we could be walking on Hollywood Boulevard and I would stop and get on my knees and suck her toes. And I said, ew. Ew. Aaron and Diamond, when it's time to get the party started, they gonna get the party started, okay? But he says he feels good because he's in control, but also she's in control too. Y'all just be saying any old thing. The last couple is Sienna and Brandon, and they get the pretzel dip in the ship, and they choose the ship, which is just him laying on his back, her sitting on top of him, Indian style, with her legs facing away from him. She says, while she's sitting on top of him, Taronda is like, how does this feel? And she's like, I feel a little tingly. He says, I feel like I'm about to turn on the TV. Child, these two don't like each other. These two have no romantic connection. Taronda asks why she chose the position where she was not facing him. And she says, I really just chose the one that required less work. God, these two don't like each other. So they are done with their very first activity. And I don't know if it was successful or not, child, at this point. Greg tells Millie as they're sitting on the couch that he felt that she opened up during the activity. And she tells him that, he's been patient with her. He really wants her to continue to be patient with her because he's kind of hitting at the boom, boom room. Okay. But she's like, nope, we're going to keep going at our own pace. I don't care what the other couples are doing. we see Brandon and Sienna are playing pool, and she starts talking about him moving to New York. And he's kind of like, where is this now coming from? Because that's going to make me farther away from my kids. As we was talking earlier, you seem like you was open. Now you're not really open anymore. And again, Sienna, you playing the old switcheroo here. Like, what is happening? He says that there is some inconsistencies with her not remembering conversations. And then they show a flashback of them talking like 3 months ago. And she was talking about how flexible she was and how, she could just pick up and go and move somewhere else. And then now you acting like you wouldn't be open to move to Florida. She asks him if he thinks they are compatible, and he told her that she is inconsistent. And she's like, you know what? I really don't like that. You're like the third guy to tell me that. I said, girl, well, it is you, honey. You have to work on not being inconsistent. I mean, at what point are you going to get the hint? Like, they're going to keep telling you this if you don't work on providing some type of consistency in a relationship. He tells her that when they are trying to talk, she tries to overtalk him and doesn't listen, and then things stack up. And before he can even keep talking, she calls him a bitch. And I said, where did this come from? Why is she calling him names at this point? But she says he has a habit of saying the first thing that comes to his mind and doesn't think about her. And you calling him a witch just now was not you just saying the first thing that came to your mind with no regards to his feelings? Where did they find these people? Oh gosh. As they get together with the other, no, this is when they're still talking playing pool. She says that him having a broken marriage means that he can easily break promises, and then tells him, you broke that promise and you went and had a kid with somebody else. That didn't work. So you don't have a good track record. And he was like, yeah, and it was 10 years in between the marriage and then him going to be in another relationship and having another child. He says she is deflecting, and as soon as he said it, I was writing it in my notes because I'm like, you are seriously doing some mean deflection here of trying to put all of this off on him to get the heat off of your back right now. And he is calling you out on it and you don't like it, because I don't think he was being rude at all during this conversation. And it was just like she went completely left, as if you escalate the situation, then what is that going to do? What is that going to prove? So they go in the kitchen and all the other couples are kind of in there. Sienna then brings their private conversation public, and I'm not even sure why she is doing this. He tells them that he takes marriage very seriously, and she jumps in and is saying, well, if you took it seriously, then you would still be in your first marriage, right? And he was like, I told you, I got married like when I was 21 because she was pregnant. I lived in the South. That was the thing to do, is that I should marry this woman. Joanna tries to bring up the point that, we should not look at failure as being bad, but like a form of growth. And then Millie is also trying to get her to see that, girl, you sound crazy, because that does not dictate the man that he is now. That was 15 years ago. And the fact that you knew this walking in here, this is not new information that you have just gotten since y'all have gotten in this house. So now, why are you making it a thing? Sienna, I'm side-eye you, girl. I am. So we see as the episode starts to wrap up, Sienna and Greg are talking, Millie and Brandon are talking, and they're talking about how the process is going for each of them. Sienna, girl, you and these faux locks is killing me softly. I want you to just take this out and wear your natural hair. But anyway, Sienna gets done talking with Greg. She comes to bed, and that's Millie and Brandon also talking in their room that the girls share. So she comes in, she's getting in bed, and she's kind of giving like this side eye look to them. And she says that she feels some kind of way that he is talking to Millie about her. I said, girl, was you not just doing that with Greg? That's what I'm saying. You can't sit here and get mad at somebody for something that you are doing as well. Sienna, like, tell me, where does this make sense? So at this point, you are a walking red flag for me. You really need to do some more work on yourself, because these really extreme hot and cold temperatures, that she's showing us is very concerning. And nobody would want to be in a relationship with somebody that is constantly going back and forth, and you don't know how the person is going to react when you say something or do something. Hell, just coming home from work, you don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in. Like, don't nobody want to be in no type of volatile household like that. Sienna, get yourself together, honey. But that was the end of this episode, y'all. Let me know what y'all thoughts were. Are y'all happy that Alexis and Dominique are gone? I know I am, because I was definitely torn if I would continue to review this show if they stayed in the picture, because that was not okay with me. But let me know how y'all felt about the rest of the episode and who y'all feel like is like an actual real couple. Because right now, I only got Shay and Josh. Drop it down in the comment section, and I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.